This is a demonstration of the Censored Search website on August 11th, 2020. We type in the URL, https://censored-search.com. All right, takes a second or two, and here we have. This is basically a database of websites that are censored, shadow banned, deprecated by the mainstream cartel, the Googles, the Facebooks, etc. It is a rapidly expanding list of websites that we're indexing. This is just a quick zoom through. You can see the websites. There's no way to duplicate everything that Google or some of its competitors do, but they are refusing to show a lot of information, presumably in response to powerful interests, such friendly people as the pharmaceutical industry, various intelligence agencies and entities which seem to have decided something or other that they want to have happen. We could go on. There's pretty obvious that the United States is experiencing massive censorship and regulation of these sites. So what we can do in various ways is index the sites that they aren't indexing or are deprecating. So anyone can use the website as a guest free setting, if you will, or a free option. Now this uses a simple, for the general public, for people who are not paying, it uses a simple PageRank type of algorithm. So PageRank, the basic idea is we count the number of times other websites in the database link to a page and rank it accordingly. It's actually a little bit more complicated than that in that it takes the PageRank and multiplies by the number of times it finds the search phrase, which is Bill Gates in this case. And you get a typical output, and you can go further along if you want to, just to give you an idea, because there's a lot of stuff on Bill Gates. So this is a lot of stuff you will not see for the typical mainstream website, which will, if it mentions any of this, will refer to it as a conspiracy theory. That's the standard way of censoring things right now. All right, so now you can pay in order to get the ability to rate the sites, which ones you like, which ones you dislike, or even basically block sites. However, the real benefit is you can kind of figure out which ones you think are most productive and rate those well. In addition, you can select better, newer search algorithms. In particular, we have one right now. All right, so this is a customer, and we're going to log into his account. And here we are. So now we can look for Bill Gates again. And we're now logged in as this person. We're using what we call money rank or follow the money search criterion, which differs. It uses artificial intelligence. Doesn't produce a very large difference in this case, but what it does do is it looks for web pages that refer to financial matters. They talk about conflicts of interest. They talk about budgets. They talk about financial transactions. So in general, the information that you really want to look for is substantive facts that are being suppressed underneath all of the rhetoric, such as conflicts of interest, such as donations to politicians, such as investments between different companies, and financial interests that are typically obscured in a lot of the mainstream media. And actually, if you look at cable news, they rarely talk about these things unless they're doing a hit on somebody. So that's the basic idea. Let me show you how, as an individual, as a paying customer, you can configure the system. So I'll just change two things just to illustrate the concept. So this is the configuration for my account, or actually for Marcus's account here. So maybe for some reason I don't want to use the follow the money ranking, which is the default. That's probably not the best idea, but that could happen. Eventually we're going to have more options here, and also we'll have some way where you can actually write your own algorithm. So you're completely in the driver's seat here. You have a lot of transparency. You know which websites we're searching, and these are the default ratings. So we just treat everybody the same. We don't have any favorites, but let's say for the sake of argument, our winner in that search was the Corbett report, and let's say we don't like it for some reason, or we are concerned about it. So we're going to derate it. And so instead of giving it 1, We give it 0, but we could give it 100 or something like that. And that's important because some of the sites that are getting quote censored unquote probably aren't all that reliable. That's part of the game. So you have to kind of pick out the ones that make sense, have useful information. All right, so we updated it. You can see it's updating. And let me see. Here we go. See, so it changed the overall rating to 0. So it multiplies the rating by 0. So this is actually basically setting it to the worst. It's essentially blocking the site, and it puts it at the bottom of the list. And let's look for Bill Gates again. Here we go, Bill Gates. And now we get somebody else's information. So again, and we're now using PageRank instead. And I'm just going to, okay, so the concept is you can control which websites are boosted, depending on which ones you find most credible or useful to you. And you can actually look at all this information in your configurations here. Again, you know what's going on. Unlike Google or Facebook or any of the search engines, YouTube, that are out there, where you don't know. And it's almost certainly determined by the large wallets and large bank accounts of the advertisers, the pharmaceutical companies that want you to buy certain things or get your kids vaccinated or sell you $3,000 sample drugs and things like that. So instead, you're in charge. And we'll put it back the way it was before. All right, so there we go again. And let me search for Bill Gates again. And we get back to Bill Gates. And okay, let me just try one more time. Something didn't happen right. Should be follow the money. Okay, that's good. And let me take a look at the Corbett report. Did I make a mistake there? Yeah, I didn't update that correctly. I wanted to set this one back as well. Here we go. All right. All right, so let's try again. Actually, let me make sure that it did, in fact, update it correctly. Yes, okay. So let's try again. There we are. So now the Corbett report is back at the top as it was before. And this is using the money ranking to follow the money, which is probably preferable to the PageRank. So remember, the PageRank is basically a popularity contest. It's very easy to game. It's been around for over 20 years. It used to be patented by Google, but the patent expired. So PageRank type algorithms, although they're easy to implement and they're pretty easy to understand, they're also very easy to game, and they are popularity contests. And a lot of times the critical information that's being censored isn't necessarily popular. That's the whole point of the censorship, is to make sure people aren't linking to it and people aren't aware of it. Therefore, if you really want to fight heavy-duty censorship of key information that you need to know, such as what are the hidden agendas behind some drug or vaccine being peddled to you, or some politician being promoted to you, whether, a lot of times politicians turn out to have these interesting connections that somehow don't get a lot of news. These are the kinds of things you're looking for, and they're typically financial in nature. And, of course, I've mentioned the concept of a conspiracy theory. Well, there are a lot of speculations about a lot of things in the world, but money makes the world go round. And if you can find the money changing hands and the financial connections, you have a pretty good case that something really is going on. You may not be able to prove it beyond any reasonable doubt, but again, if some politician receives $50 million in some way from, let's say, a pharmaceutical company, and they're promoting certain vaccines or drugs, and they're passing various government laws that happen to benefit that pharmaceutical company, you can reasonably infer that something is probably going on, which you can't really do with just a wild conspiracy theory. So it's very important to look for the hard data for financial information, conflicts of interest, that sort of information. And so that's why we have as our default paid algorithms that use artificial intelligence to look for that kind of content, that kind of information. And that type of information is typically the real target of the censorship. They don't really care about Nazis or hate speech or anything like that. The real target is to suppress information about financial manipulations and that kind of thing in most of the stuff that's happening. So that's basically how it works. I can also log out. And I'm logged out. So let's check this out. And so now I'm back to the guest setting, which is using the PageRank. And that's the basic idea. And again, let me just show the website again. https://censored-search.com. And there we go. And we have different options here. You can enter an original search here. You can subscribe to us through PayPal or Subscribestar, and we will be adding additional payment mechanisms as quickly as we can. So that concludes this quick demonstration of the Censored Search website. Keep in mind that this was done on August 11th, 2020, and we will be updating and expanding the database, expanding the capabilities of the system and the algorithms as time proceeds. This concludes this video presentation. If you like this video, please click like. Please click subscribe and the notification bell if you would like to receive more content from us. You can avoid internet censorship by subscribing directly to our RSS news feed. Please consider sharing the link by email and on your website or blog, in addition to liking, upvoting, or sharing on increasingly censored, advertising beholden, big company social media. We have encountered such censorship. Mathematical software is developing algorithms and software to automate data analysis, reducing the risks of costly errors and increasing the predictive power of the results. You can support our work financially by subscribing on our Patreon page, https://www.patreon.com/mathsoft, or scanning the QR code in the lower right corner.